Welcome dear friends. Myself Dr. Rashmi Joshi Sawalkar, Assistant Professor, Department of Zoology, Shri College of Science, Akola. Today this is our lecture on the topic Female Reproductive System of Ascaris lumbricoides. This is from our syllabus and from Unit 3. Before this lecture, we have studied the complete phylum uh, Fasciola hepatica, that is Platyhelminthes, and now in this phylum Esculenthes, it is our fourth lecture in which we are studying the female reproductive system of Ascaris lumbricoides. So let's see, friends, what are the organs of reproduction in female Ascaris. So see, first we will study the scientific classification of phylum Esculenthes or Ascaris. So kingdom Animalia, phylum Nematoda, class Chromodoria, order Ascaridida, family Ascarididae, genus Ascaris, species Lumbricoides. So this is the diagram. This is the complete diagram of the female reproductive system of Ascaris, female Ascaris. See here, it is present in the posteriormost region of the Ascaris lumbricoides. This is the female Ascaris. So the tail region is not curved here. It is having the straight tail. The B diagram is of TS of ovary, transverse section of ovary, which is showing the different structures or how the mature eggs are, ovum is developed or generated. Now this is the C diagram in which transverse section of uterus is shown, in which multiple eggs or mature ovum are shown here. So let's see one by one what are the organs of reproduction in female Ascaris. So female reproductive system. These are confined in the posterior two-thirds of the body and consists of ovaries, oviducts, uteri and vagina. These are the organs of reproduction. So in fact in Ascaris lumbricoides, like most of the nematodes, there is a set of two parallel tracts of female reproductive organs, that is an ovary, oviduct and a uterus in one tract. This condition is called as didelphic, although monodelphic, that is one tract. When one tract is present, then it is called as monodelphic. When two tracts are present, then it is called as didelphic. And the polydelphic means more than two tracts are seen there. So conditions are also found here. So this is the diagram in which the male reproductive system is shown. This is the complete cut open structure of female Ascaris. Now this V-shaped or A alphabet shaped structure is the ovary. These are the fine thread-like coiled Structure is called as ovary, which is followed distally in the again tubular thread-like structure, which is called as oviduct. Oviduct run forward and forms somewhat large diameter, again tubular structure, which is called as which is the uterus, in which all these yellow color structures are mature ovum or eggs. This is the uterus, which is in the stored form, the eggs are seen. And this is the supercoiled second oviduct here, which is supercoiled to the or surrounded to the uh, structure of uterus. So this is two parts and which unites to form the female reproductive organs. So that's why it is didelphic. Two tracts are seen, that's why it is didelphic. Now the first organ of reproduction in female Ascaris are the ovaries. So the paired ovaries of Ascaris lumbricoides are long, thread-like and highly twisted, tube-like, and terminate blindly in the pseudocele. Pseudocele, again the cavity which is false cavity, so it is called as pseudocele. So a pair of ovaries are present in Ascaris. See here, a pair of ovaries. This is the first ovary and the supercoiled structure here is the second ovary. So pair of ovaries are seen and the end is thread-like and highly twisted tube-like and the terminate blindly, whose end is blind. So it is terminated blindly. Internally, it has a single layer of cuboidal epithelium. Internally, it has a single layer of cuboidal epithelium, a cytoplasmic central rachis, and externally a basement membrane, the outermost covering which is covered or surrounded by the basement membrane and which internally lined by the epithelial cells. The rachis is encircled around by group of developing ova. So this is the rachis which is encircled by a group of developing ova. Now the second part of female reproductive organ is oviduct. Ovaries are continued posteriorly into somewhat broader oviducts having similar structure to ovaries, but in place of solid rachis there is a lumen in the oviducts. In the oviduct the lumen is present in which the mature eggs which are synthesized in these ovaries are propelled out in the forward direction. So this is all about the ovaries and oviducts. Now the third organ of female reproduction is the uteri. Each oviduct is further continued into still broader, thicker and muscular uterus. Pair of ovaries are present, pair of oviducts are present and pair of uterus is seen here. So uterus is also two-tract uterus is seen. It has a thick inner layer of circular muscles and a thin outer layer of oblique muscles. The first part of uterus serves as seminal receptacle where sperms after copulation are stored and where fertilization occurs. The first part of uterus means this one, this narrower part of uterus, it is called as seminal receptacle where sperms after copulation are stored and where fertilization occurs The remaining uterus stores fertilized eggs. The remaining portion of this complete uterus contains or stores the fertilized eggs. See, these yellow color rounded structures are all fertilized eggs and its cells produce yolk and material for egg shells. So this is all about the structure of uterus. Now the fourth structure of female reproduction is vagina. The two uteri unite and open into a short of gonad. These two uteri open into a short tube. This is the short tube. Maturation of median muscular vagina lined with cuticle. The vagina, the gonad not shown, opens by a transverse gonopore or vulva which lies mid-ventrally. It lies mid-ventrally on the ventral side of the female ascaris, mid-ventrally with and lined with cuticle. The gonopore or vulva which lies mid-ventrally about 1/3 of the length from the anterior end. From the anterior end at the stage of 1/3 length of the female ascaris, there lies the vulva. In some nematodes, the end part of the uterus or the end part of the vagina when present forms muscular ovijectors which by peristaltic movement force the eggs one by one through the gonopore. Peristaltic movement is there by which by this force the eggs are propelled in the forward direction one by one. The eggs are forced into the forward direction. Now this is the mature structure, transverse section of mature female ascaris. So this diagram is asked in examination for 4 marks, and only by drawing this diagram and giving the labels properly, you will score the 4 marks. So be careful while studying this diagram. And here, this is the complete female reproductive system here, in which the uh, complete structure of ovary, oviduct, then the uterus, and then the vulva, vagina, the complete reproductive organs are shown here. This is the diagram in which the transverse section of uterus, this is the diagram of transverse section of ovary, in which the basement membrane is there, the outermost cuticle, the which is lined by the germinal epithelium cells. This is the lumen of the ovary, in which the mature the germinal epithelial cells synthesizes the mature ovum. All these green color structures, rounded structures, are mature ovum. And this is the central rachis, which is shown here. These all are oogonia or ovum, and inside each ovum the nuclei are seen. Now this is the transverse section of uterus. See, this is the basement membrane, outermost membrane. Again, it is lined by the germinal epithelium cells, and the mature eggs are present, which are fertilized here. And this is the muscular layer, which helps in contraction and relaxation of the female reproductive system. So, friends, let's see the life cycle or life history of Ascaris lumbricoides. This is the structure in which the complete life cycle or stages of Ascaris are shown. See, this is egg capsule in feces. Feces, that means this is to intestine from lungs. Eggs swallowed, these are the lungs. This is the life cycle of Ascaris in heart. This is the complete structure of intestine of human beings. So in this intestine, how many stages are there? Let's see. The second stage larva, which hatches out from the eggshell. This larva develops into the second stage, and from here it gets it enters into the liver. From liver it enters into the heart here, and from the heart it enters into the lungs. From lungs again it enters into the intestinal region, and at this stage it is the fourth stage of the larva. This fourth stage larva gets converted or develops into the young ascaris. Here the male and female ascaris again get copulates, and the mature eggs or fertilized eggs are laid. These eggs then again through the fecal matter of human beings are excreted out from the body, and these matured or fertilized eggs develops into the first stage of larva, then second stage of larva, which is into the contaminated water, and this contaminated water which contains the eggs are swallowed through the by the human beings, and in this way the life cycle gets completed of the female ascaris. These are some points of the life history of ascaris. The life history of Ascaris lumbricoides is monogenetic, as it involves only one host, that is man. Infection to the new host. As there is no intermediate host in the life cycle of Ascaris, humans acquire infection by directly ingesting Ascaris eggs with the second larva stage, or contaminated food or water. These two are the uh, reasons from where the infection get inside the entry inside the human body. After ingestion of the eggs, due to the action of the digestive juices of the small intestine, the egg shell of the larva is dissolved and the larva hatches out. This is the second stage, and the larva hatches out inside the intestinal region of human beings. Later development and migration, how it migrates after hatching from the eggshell. So just hatched out juvenile measures about 0.25 to 0.3 millimeter in length and 13 to 15 micron in diameter. This juvenile performs active pressing movement to bore through the intestinal epithelium. and begins to migrate to other parts of the host body. By boring the epithelium or internal membrane, it ruptures the membranes and migrate to the other parts of the host body. Now, the larva migrates the hepatic portal circulation and then to the liver. From this hepatic portal circulation, it enters to the liver and then to the heart. From liver, it enters to the heart through the postcaval vein. So this is the track from this from intestinal part. It enters to the liver. From liver through the postcaval vein, it enters into the heart. From the heart, it migrates to the lungs via pulmonary artery. In the lungs, it remains for few days and increases in size. It ruptures the blood capillaries and bores its way to alveoli. Here this second larval stage undergoes molting to become third larval stage. The third stage larva further undergoes another molting to transform into fourth stage larva, which is about 2 to 3 millimeter in length. This 2 to 3 millimeter length fourth stage larva migrates from the alveoli to the pharynx through trachea. From the pharynx, this larva re-enters the gut region when cuffed and swallowed back. This fourth stage larva undergoes final molting to become adult. These adult worms attain sexual maturity within 8 to 10 week time. Some larvae do not follow the above said usual pattern of migration but reach the brain or spinal cord. The larva cannot survive in these organs and thus a calcareous cyst is formed around it. So this is all about the life cycle or migration of the larval stages of Ascaris into the human beings. So thank you friends. Thank you once again.